stay until we soothe our soul, if it takes all night long.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom. Yeah, woodchucks and chuckettes, hoofties, poofties, bung-eyed effers, right and left wing weckos, you're all welcome here to another version of It's News to Us.
Wits, twerps, and pencil neck geeks.
Yeah, pencil neck geeks. It's News to Us. Thank you, Terry. We're Newport's oldest TV news. What just new? We got adult themes and adult language, and you're advised. That's your last warning. That's it. That's all you get. It's rated SC for some cussing. We try and keep it clean, but, you know, every now and then stuff happens. And, oh, my God. Well, what's the news today? Well, this is from today's paper. That would be Wednesday, the 7th day of May. Stinker working to salvage deal in Newport. That's right. At the Sewerfront Motel. And remember, there's no swimming on Turd Beach, and you can cruise the SS Turd Blossom and dodge them in the lake. Yeah, thanks, Terry. Because remember, you're going to build a big waterfront hotel with an antsy bio with an alien spaceport on top so that the aliens could come in and land right here. It's all coming. Well, evidently it isn't. And evidently, too, Palmer Leo agreed that Palmer Leo and Stinker agreed the hotel and marina project is important for Newport, Stinky said. Palmer Leo, who grew up in Newport, said the project is the only thing that could revive the town's Main Street, which he described as pathetic. It's pathetic. And now, wait a minute. Palmer Leahy said he grew up in Newport. I thought he grew up in Barton. Wasn't he wearing a cast iron suit or something? Remember that fairy tale? Oh yeah, well, I grew up in Barton, and then when I was a little kid, I broke something. I fell down the stairs and broke something, and this Canadian doctor put me in a cast iron suit. And I had to wear that cast iron suit swimming, and I'll tell you what, mister, it was hard walking along the bottom of the Turd Lake. And when I was a kid living there, what really made Newport was all the farmers and the railroad, Palmer Leahy said. Both sides of the street were occupied with department stores and supermarkets because the farmers came in on Friday and Saturday. On Monday, after Monday's meeting, Stinky said he was caught up in a whirlwind of attention from local media. He said he had business to attend to for NC Bio. A new biotech campus coming to Newport as a piece of the Economic Development Initiative. I need to secure that deposit for him and give him the financial comfort he needs, Stinky said. There's no doubt we both want the project to occur. It's the right thing for Screwport. It's like, what? What do you mean? He wants at least a 7-figure deposit, Stinky said, and I'm working on it. Palmer Leahy denied Tuesday that he asked for a 7-figure deposit. He said only that the deposit would have to be a big figure, at least 50% of the sale price, which he declined to name. Right now, the deal is off, Palmer Leahy said. When he's got the money, he can come back and talk to me, and we'll see whether it's available or not. Now, there's a deal cast in cement. What the heck is going on with that? Hey, wait. On Monday, Palmer Leahy said he was tired of waiting to be paid for the lakefront property in Newport where Stinker and his partner, Ariel Quiros, are planning to build a Newport Marina and Conference Center. I'm just as well off by not selling it financially, Palmer Leahy said of the property. So, you know, the Newport, the Marina and Conference Center is part of a $500 million makeover of Newport, Jay Peak and Berkey Mountain that Stinker and Quiros are paying for with the money raised from the EB5 program. Well, evidently they didn't raise the money because he didn't get any to Palmer Leahy. Anyways, it'd have to be a big figure. Right now, the deal is off. Hey, do I get my cameraman back? And anyway, this... The microphone's working? Are those speakers working? He's seen money. This is another one. Oh, yeah, he's seen the money. I've seen the money. Not the money. He's seen money. This was from Tuesday's paper. This was before the deal was off. I don't know. I've been waiting 4 years. I can't wait any longer, said Palmer Leahy. I haven't received one dime, and we're talking about a big deal, millions of dollars. Well, if is it millions of dollars or, you know, we don't know. Nobody's talking money here. And if you're telling me he's pulling out, I don't know what to say, Quiro said. Unbelievable. It's intended to transform one of Vermont's most economically challenged regions by attracting up to $500 million of foreign investment under the federal EB-5 program. After 2 years, if the project has created 10 full-time jobs, the investor is given a permanent green card. Oh, yeah. In September of 2012, Stinker and Quiro stood before a packed conference room at Jay Peak and said they'd use the EB-5 to expand Jay Peak further, a new biotech campus, a hotel and marina, and revamp an entire city block, build hangars and other facilities at the Newport Airport, 4 new base launches at Quirk Mountain. Supposedly, the Jay Peak and Nancy Bio projects moved forward, but the AirPro project was dropped from the EB-5 lineup. He's done a hell of a job in Jay Peak, but Palmer Leahy went on to say the Newport area needs Stinky's project, but the deal is dragged on for 4 years. 4 years. That's right. And where's the mayor? You know, usually when there's a statement to be made, where's the mayor? Where's the Renaissance Commission, the corporation? And here we are, Mayor Meme's anti-bio, clean rooms and motels, laboratories, bioreactors, bio shoots, and condoms sold separately. It's FDA approved. You can trust us. That's right. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So it looks like that went down. Oh, and here's another one, too. State senators fight for Ethan Allen tax credit. Oh, that's right. This one's from the same paper, the Chuck paper, on Monday, May 5th. Senator Bobby Starr of North Troy. Now, wait a minute. Bobby Starr is not from North Troy. Bobby Starr is from Troy. He doesn't live like within a mile of North Troy, 2 miles of North Troy. And John Rogers of Glovoff have proposed an amendment on the Senate floor. The Senate study a payroll tax credit, specifically for wood product manufacturers before legislators pull the plug on it. The bill, which was enacted in '97, is to encourage wood product manufacturers like Ethan Allen to remain in state. Now, how many people know what OPIC is? OPIC stands for the Overseas Private Industry Council. It's a one-stop shopping where we use our federal dollars to send a whole factory overseas. What they'll do is OPIC, you can call up OPIC and say, look, I want to move my factory to Honduras. You know, I'm sick of these Americans and they want like fair wages and stuff like that. I want to send my factory to Honduras or Brazil or China. Well, OPIC will help you do it. And yeah, the buzz around the State House is it's not intended for Ethan Allen, it's intended for IBM, said Lucy, who is at the State House almost every day as a lobby, yeah. It's written as such that any business could qualify in whole or in part. The tax credit was so here we go. They're going to use our tax money to keep businesses here when the businesses, all they have to do is go down to the feds and say, we want to move out. And off they go. Hey, Jackie, do I get my cameraman back?
The answer is no.
Yeah, it's always no.
Always gone. Over the hill and far away.
I can't wait any longer, said Pomerleau. By the time I get done, it'll look like a new shopping center. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's all gone now. Oh, and what's one of our favorite subjects? That's right. Homino domini, 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 all of you kiddies drop of you pants and set on the lap of Father Pettenfilia. Oh, that's right, too. And beware of God. That's right. Beware of the sky god. The sky god, the old man in the sky, is going to beat you, then he's going to forgive you, then he's going to beat you again, then he's going to forgive you, then he's going to make you stab your firstborn son.
Beating yourself, Steve.
Yeah.
Got the wrong hat on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we got a new pope. I have to make one with the helicopter rides for the Argentinian.
Billboard Betty the Rat.
Yeah, Penny the Rat. Here we are. This is from today's paper. 848 priests defrocked over sexual abuse cases.
No, you're kidding me.
No, you think they're finally getting around to that?
Well, I know this new pope has really been after them.
Oh, but it's about time. Thank God for small favors. This is from today's paper, Wednesday. The Vatican released comprehensive statistics for the first time on how it was disciplining the priests accused of raping and molesting children, saying the 848 priests have been defrocked and an additional 2,572 given a lesser sanctions over the past decade. The Vatican's UN ambassador, Archbishop Silvani Tomasi, revealed the figures Tuesday during a second day of grilling by a UN committee monitoring the implementation of UN Treaty Against Torture. I wonder if they'll get around to us in Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, where Obama promised to let them out, and the Congress won't give them any money, so we got people just staying in jail without even the charges, forever and ever and ever.
Give the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's a terrorist. Tomasi said that more than 3,400 credible cases of abuse have been referred to the Vatican, including 401 cases last year alone. Wow. And here it is. Good for the doomed pope. He created a board to craft protocols for dealing with the sexual abuse. Suffered the children, said Jesus. Suffered the children. Members of Pope Francis's Sexual Abuse Advisory Board said Saturday they will develop clear and effective protocols to hold bishops and other church authorities accountable if they fail to report suspected abuse or protect children from pedophile priests. Victims groups have long blasted the Vatican for refusing to sanction the bishop or superior who covered up for these guys. They also listed accountability as one of the key issues facing Francis and a key test for his new advisory board. He announced the creation, Francis did, after an initial criticism ignored the sexual abuse issue. The commission's 8 members, 4 of whom are women. Well, wait a minute. They can be on the commission, but they can't be priests or ministers? How's that work? Let's see. 4 of whom we met for the first time this week at the Pope's Vatican Hotel. Cardinal Sean O'Malley, the Archbishop of Boston, said Saturday the current church laws could hold bishops accountable if they fail to do their jobs to protect the kids. But he said those laws hadn't been sufficient to date. New protocols were needed, where superiors of the church have not fulfilled their obligations to protect children. Hey, it's about time. It's 30 years or too late, but, you know, at least maybe going forward we won't have to worry about the Skinner priests. And it's just typical. Oh, yeah, here we are, too. This is from a couple years ago. This is from August of 2011. You're going to love this, Philo. Thank you. We pulled this off the net, and it's pharmaceutical jobs. And it's a press release It says, ANSI Bio gears up for new biotech jobs in the U.S. Bill Stinger, or JP, he said, we will raise the money over the next 6 months. Beginning in 2012, we will start construction here. And that'll probably take us into the better part of 2012, will be the construction. By 2013, we should be operating and running, he said. Okay. What year is this? Yeah, by 2013, we're going to be up.
So what was the other stuff about the deal that wouldn't go through? $1 million or $100,000, or what was that? What did happen, Steve?
Well, we don't know. I mean, you know, it's a bunch of dancing around. Palmer Leahy said that Newport's Main Street was pathetic. And
That's right, yep.
yeah.
I got it, yep.
And the last thing Stinky said was, I need to secure the deposit and give him the financial comfort he needs. He doesn't need financial comfort. The guy's a friggin' millionaire. He needs to check, Bill. A check that won't bounce.
Well, maybe he threw it on the ground and it bounced. That's why he didn't want it.
It's little Billy Stinkers, rubber checks.
Boinga, 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 boinga.
Yeah, it's going to go up and down.
That's what happened, but it seems reasonable to me.
You know, I don't know, Terry. When I saw Patsy Sears leaving the Newport, the Renaissance Commission, I knew something was up, you know, because usually when the boat's sinking, you know, everything comes off and tries to grab onto some flotsam and jetsam and get away from the wreck. Because
They used to have a CD by that band.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a band back in the 80s. A thrasher band.
Because if you don't get away from the wreck, right, you'll get sucked down in the wake.
A giant sucking sound.
Yeah, you're gonna get that giant sucking sound like the one that took all our jobs with NAFTA, CAFTA, and SHAFTA. Now they're over there drumming up the TPP. Now here we go too. Just when you thought Duncan Kilmartin couldn't be topped, we've got a guy from Rutland, a Republican, calling black people couch surfers. He said they're living with white girls.
Oh no, how awful.
Yeah.
Maybe some of us don't want to live with him either.
Oh man. You can't make this stuff up because remember, boys and girls, there's no cracker like an old cracker. This is
Some hardtack too.
yeah, hardtack and boiled coffee. Saturday, May 3rd. Colleagues criticize lawmakers' comments on race. A Vermont lawmaker coming under fire for some of his colleagues that deemed racially insensitive. Representative Doug Gage, RAR, Rutland, speaking during a floor debate Thursday on a measure to expand police training against racial profiling, told his colleagues of a conversation he had with a neighbor of color who came to him with a complaint. By the way, this is probably one of the only black people in Rutland that this guy supposedly knows, yet he can't remember his name. Huh. Why does this smell like fish? The complaint was that the other people in the Rutland area of color he wished would go back home, Gage said. He was upset with them, period. He said many of them were drug dealers, period. This is his words, not mine, period. He said they're couch surfers, period. They lived with, comma, he used the word white girls. Many of them are drug dealers, period. They're giving me a bad reputation, period. This was his complaint to me. He's a Vermonter, all right. Short, choppy sentences. And
Even unity.
yeah. Oh, I got that sign too. Just remember the FU. And Gage, who told his fellow lawmakers the man lived in his neighborhood for 30 to 35 years, most of his entire life, said in a later interview he couldn't remember the man's name. Now, it's like, you know, what are you kidding me? You even ask any of your local reps, if you've called them, or if you emailed them, or, you know, you've given them money, or you even talked to them. I mean, trust me, Vermont's a small state. People know who you are.
Right. Even if you don't like it.
Yeah, even if they don't like what you're saying, or if they don't do email like Senator Stupid.
Actually, he has one now.
Yeah?
Finally, yeah, he's got one now.
I wonder.
I'll get it to you later, Steve.
I wonder who he's paying to reply to it.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, he's probably out riding his tricycle. Let's see. Gage said that, all right, during the debate, supporters of the bill said Vermont needed to address a disparity in which half of 1% of its population is made up of African American men. Now, I've got a few black friends, not a lot, and, you know, they are no more African American than I'm Ukrainian, Irish, German American, or Philo's Italian. We're all Americans. You know, none of these people came from Africa. I mean, maybe Obama, his father was, but, you know, if you're born here, you consider yourself American. They just happen to be black.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be, isn't it?
You would think.
Yeah.
But I guess
We ain't white enough.
That's it. You better stay out of the sun, Philo, I'm telling you.
Holy cow, I tell you, you gotta get bleached.
I get that Mediterranean look every time I go out in my garden, man.
Yeah, Michael Jackson found that out the hard way.
Yeah. Gage said that many people of color have moved into our area, and many other people going door to door have echoed his concerns, he said, referring to the neighbor. The neighbor. So it does not surprise me that we have a higher number of people, percentage-wise, who may be in our jails. What? You know, it's like the white kid. They had the white kid on Channel 3 last night who was writing scripts for buprenorphine and stuff. You know, pretended to be a doctor. That kid is a graduate student from UVM. He's going to get probation. Yet if some black guy moves up here from Vermont, from Bronx or Brooklyn, and he's dealing heroin, he's going to go right to the federal joint.
I think I know who that guy is from Brooklyn, you know?
Oh, man, it's like that Jay Giles song. Where are you from? Yeah, well, I'm from the Bronx, Your Honor. Is that so? I sentenced you to 40 years.
Probably got a better deal than living in the Bronx.
Yeah. He also went on to say that he taught at the Marble Valley Correction Facility in Rutland. Well, then he retracted that, and he said later that he held a Bible study group on a volunteer basis. So first he's teaching, then it turns into a Bible study. Well, I guess I am teaching him about the Bible. So yeah, I'm teaching him. And then he had met black inmates at the prison. Many of these gentlemen are my friends. I probably have a high percenter of friends of color than most people in Vermont, just because in my work I come into contact with them, said Gage, 54.
What color are they?
Our Rutland, exactly.
Green, purple,
chartreuse. I got cousins who are half Puerto Rican and half German, and they don't consider themselves either one. They're Americans. Yeah, you'd think, right? Unbelievable.
We have a case now where even your president has to prove who he is.
Oh, jeez.
Which is totally pathetic, Steve.
Oh, yeah, he's a Muslim from Kenya, don't you know? Yeah. Dear Representative Gage.
And then you got our good friend Bernie Sanders.
I am African American, and I don't like these couch surfers. What the hell? The guy's a racist, evidently.
Guy out in Oklahoma, huh?
Oh, man. Oh.
Oklahoma or Arkansas? I think it was Oklahoma, wasn't it? That Bundy guy?
Oh, no, he was out in Nevada.
Oh, Nevada, sorry.
Yeah, he's grazing his cows on our BLM land, and, you know, it's the same thing. I mean, even what's-his-face there, Paul Ryan. He was saying that inner city males, they don't want to work. Never mind that there's no jobs. Never mind that the jobs there are don't pay a living wage. But, you know, oh, they don't want to work. They're inner city. That's code, you know. So anyways, Gage ended up voting for the bill in a House roll call, but some of his colleagues expressed shock at his comments. To raise those kinds of insulting, generalizing remarks about a group of people on the House floor is something I hope we don't make a habit of doing, said Representative Keisha Ram. Now, mind you, I was in a waiting room yesterday, Terry, and I won't say where.
Okay.
And this old cracker was saying, oh, yeah, I see that they led prayer at school. Well, it's like, yeah, whatever, you know, at town meetings and whatnot, you know. I just hope that, you know, one day it's going to come back on you, because if you're going to institute prayer, then one day the Church of Satan's going to come in and say, look, we want to give our invocation this week, and you're going to have to let them.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar.
What goes around comes around. Hello, Akbar. And,
I haven't seen Admiral Akbar lately.
Oh, she's on the Channel 3 News every night at 6 o'clock, man.
Who's that?
Oh, what's her name? Kristen something?
Oh.
She's
I
got,
don't usually watch that.
yeah, she looks,
I wait for the good one. I wait for Rachel Maddow.
she looks like Admiral Akbar, man. She does. She's got them eyes, man. I mean, there's like 18 inches between them. I'd hate to get glasses for eyes like that. Boy.
I usually wait for Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only thing worth watching, that in Hartman. Representative Kate Webb said it was embarrassing to hear someone say that with an incredible lack of awareness. I'm sure that in his heart what he said he believed was in support of people of color. It just kind of felt like it was the 1950s or something, that we'd gone back in time. In an interview afterwards, Gage defended his comments. For them to say this was a prejudice-type issue, I just don't follow that. Okay, then. All righty.
Moving right along, folks.
Moving right along, man. You know how they called it Santa's land down in Putney, Terry?
I took my son there back in the 80s.
Well, it's Satan's land now, man, because they found all those dead reindeer and heroin on the caretaker.
Holy cow, you're kidding.
Oh, no. Tinmouth Man has been sentenced to 3 years in the joint on a heroin conspiracy charges.
I think even more for killing the poor reindeer.
Yeah, really, huh? Feds say Alan Willis II pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute 100 grams or more of junk. He was sentenced on Monday. That's right, this stuff right here, boys and girls. Vermont heroin. You know, when heroin was legal, we didn't have a problem with it. Well, you're always going to have a problem with it, you know? You're going to lose people. You know, I mean, would it make you feel any better if they were just a good old-fashioned drunk and ate their liver up in 5 years?
Okay, sure. Okay.
Did it make you feel better if they got hit by a truck crossing the road?
Now we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, geez, you're going to lose people. Authorities searched his residence and said they seized 1,500 bags of junk. Oh, wait a minute. That's a different one. But anyways, the owner and caretaker of the found a dozen dead deer and 10 reindeer. Lillian Billikowitz and Brian Diesel were both arraigned on a misdemeanor count.
2 Irishmen.
Yeah. Windham County says they found 10 dead reindeer in a barn on the property. Other animals appeared to be malnourished. And Diesler, the caretaker, also pled guilty to unrelated cases of heroin possession, grand larceny, that he sold several antiques on March 2nd in Putney. Okay, then. It's just nuts. It's just nuts.
Okay, Republicans say that lowering taxes for rich people will solve everything.
Well, you know, Terry, that's, come to find out, that's a black code, too. Tax cuts. They even have what's-his-face on tape, not Lee Atwater, the other guy there. He said in the 50s, I'll change the word because I can't use the N-word. I shouldn't either. Carl Douglas, my old teacher, would kill me. But he said in the 50s and 60s, we used to say Negro, Negro, Negro. And he said, but now all we have to do is say tax cuts and forced busing, and people get exactly what we mean. And here we are. Yeah. House approves legislation for bias-free policing. Oh, sure. You know, you're still going to get pulled over for driving while black or brown. Let's see.
Even once in a while for drunk.
Yeah. Oh, man. After 90 minutes of impassioned debate on alleged racial profiling, the House advanced legislation to collect data on the race of people pulled over in traffic stops. And so anyways, that's when Doug Gage, the Republican, got caught making his remarks. This is from Friday's paper. Collecting data on this will put one more burden on local police officers, especially during emergency response. Oh, yeah. Like during the paperwork, or if they're on their laptop, you can't type in their race. Oh, that's an undue burden on the police force, isn't it, Terry?
I saw a good race last weekend. I think it was called the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Now that's a race.
Yeah, and that was a long shot that won, huh?
Okay. Right. The favorite one.
Yeah, well, it was favorite, but it was owned by an average horsey couple.
I think they spent $10,000 for the darn animal.
Yeah. Oh, I used to work with.
Good racehorse.
I worked with thoroughbreds when I was a kid, boy. I'll tell you what, when you're in there mucking out their stalls, you don't drop a pitchfork because they'll freak right out and stomp you to death. Yeah, but necessary to collect data on roadside stops. Yet Keisha Ram said you can't have training and policies in place and then have no way to know if they're working. The bill would be a win for the advocacy group Migrante Justice, which, by the way, the state police still have never done anything. I've got it right here. Did mystery crash involve Migrante Justice's founder? This was from last July. The crash, the 2001 Jetta rolled over. 3 men seen walking away, possibly migrant farm workers. There were no plates on the car. They took out the plates. And the Jetta was last registered to Natalia Fajardo, a founder of Migrante Justice. And yet she said nothing about it. And when the Channel 3 News went to talk to her, she ran in the back room. So we still don't know what happened to Migrante Justice's Jetta. If you or I rolled over a car and we were the last owners of it, what do you think would happen to us, Terry?
Prison.
Oh, man, at least probation. We'd get busted for leaving the scene after a car accident, not reporting it. Come on.
Yeah, you get booked for garlic breath around here.
Yeah, stay away from the pizza. It's like, yeah. The group had argued for adopting a state police policy rather than one adopted by an oversight board because the police version calls on officers to not automatically assume that people who appeared to be Latino should have their immigration status checked unless they're found engaging in criminal behavior. The bill also called for new standards conducting investigative lineups for eyewitnesses. So, yeah, good going, Miss Fajardo. Oh, and speaking of which, Shumlin has questions about the medical marijuana bill. You know, you get over it, people. It's just weed. And, you know, if people want to do it in the privacy of their home, you know, if you're going to ban weed, ban booze. Because ask any cop who has to deal with domestic abuse and violence and the first responders who have to deal with car wrecks, and they'll tell you that alcohol is the biggest driver of wife beatings and everything else. And speaking of which, they had on the noontime news, Terry, that guy that got shot, the National Guard guy, he was shot by his own kid because he was cocked and he threatened to kill his own family. Yeah, war hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, you send them off to Poppy Land to commit unspeakable horrors, just like in Vietnam. They come back with their brain rewired and then wonder why they snap, and the alcohol don't help, I'll tell you that.
When has it ever helped?
Yeah, really. Sunday, May 4th. The legislators...
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you. The Schwartz.
I was like Princess Leia.
The Schwartz be with you. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that.
The legislative merchandising.
That was a great movie, wasn't it?
Oh, that's it's his favorite. I saw an interview with Mel Brooks on PBS. The legislature passed a bill allowed more residents to obtain medical marijuana and calls for a study to determine how much tax revenue would be generated if it were legalized. Now, mind you, we got 600,000 people in this state. The doctors aren't barely giving out permits because if they're hospitalists and the hospital board says no, yet that's it. You don't get your medical weed card. So, and could you imagine, Terry, if you needed antibiotics and you couldn't get to a dispensary and the doctor told you, well, here's a piece of moldy bread, Mr. DeFazio. Maybe you can take it home and turn it into penicillin. We hope it'll help you in the next 6 months or so. Ugh!
Dip it in olive oil, it might be worth it.
Oh, man, it might kill the mold.
It might.
At least smother it. The current cap is 1,000 people. The bill passed Wednesday. It's on its way to its governor. Senator Jeanette White, and I know this woman, she's pretty cool, because I testified both times in 03 and 07. And mind you, I don't drive when I'm high, and you know, if you use it for what it's intended, and you only do a little bit, it works great for nausea, migraines, and some people even chronic pain. Go figure. Jeanette White said it was important to remove the limit because some people with medical problems are being forced to buy it illegally. Shummy said he supports studying the tax issue. Colorado and Washington State, thankfully, have gone before any other state to figure out what legalization means. I think it does make sense for the legislator to ask, if we go down this route, what would the implications be? What would the revenue impacts be? What would it really mean for Vermont? It'd mean that people wouldn't worry about getting busted for doing something that hurts nobody. Ugh! Yeah, flammable, addictive, carcinogenic. They're going after this no trespass issue down in Burlington. And this no trespass issue has come up at the Church Street Marketplace precisely, Filosevich, has come up precisely because of the booze. Because the people are down there and they're getting hammered. Thanks, Terry. If you're rich and you're on Church Street and you can afford to drink in the ritzy bars, then you're fine. But if you're out on the street drinking out of a paper bag, oh, then you're a vagrant and a troublemaker, and you're going to get arrested and asked not to come back. The plaintiffs claim that the ordinance violates their free speech rights because they'll banish you from the Church Street Marketplace. And here's the guy right here. Friends military, turn out in force for the funeral of the war vet. Well, it come out today that the guy snapped. He was evidently he was drinking and threatened to kill his wife and kids, so he was shot and killed by one of his own kids. Good going. And here's a guy, South Burlington man. He got sentenced for buying booze for a kid who killed himself on an ATV. That's the guy right there. Thanks, Philo. Because booze equals death. Kevin's
got that for a minute. I got to watch something out here.
Thanks. It's a simple equation. Thanks, Terry. Yep. The kid, let's see, the teenager, this guy, Kent Richland, he's going to serve 6 months in the joint and pay $2,000 and be on probation for 2 years. 30 hours on work, detail, blah-de-blah-de-blah. He found guilty in a jury trial. He pressured a friend, Patrick Poon, to buy a bottle of gin for a high school kid, Clint Norris, and then the next morning, the kid was found dead after crashing his ATV a half-mile from his house, and he died at Fletcher Allen. Cooper Smith wondered aloud Thursday while the case was not tried as involuntary manslaughter. Oh, yeah, it couldn't be because T.J. Donovan didn't want to, try it as involuntary. Oh, it's only booze, Cooper Smith said the judge said he wanted to send a message of deterrence for others who are inclined to enable alcohol to minors. He said there's a general attitude of ambivalence around the consumption of alcohol in today's society. Oh, you think? It's okay to be drunk. And here we are. Air Guard Commander addresses the F-35 noise. And what does the F stand for? That's right. FUBAR, fouled up beyond recognition. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, because, we're going to need these F-35s because them Al-Qaeders, they got a big Air Force and, and they, heck, their Air Force took a lot of our fighters down in that war with Afghanistan. So Jackman said the F-16 is more screechy. The F-35 has a throaty sound, kind of like a Ferrari compared to a GTO. However, James Mark Lee's an opponent of it, said he was disappointed and that the Air Force's own data shows the F-13 is louder than the F-16. If it wasn't a pretend plan, the mitigation plan would include actions to mitigate the higher noise levels. But it does not. Not a word. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, here we are. Alchemist proposes stow site for brewery construction. Yeah, these were the same guys. I think they were violating their Act, thanks, Kevin, their Act 250 permit by selling their beer out of their brewery without a permit and stuff. People are coming and going. Oh, did we need a permit for that? And here we are, way in the back of the paper, way in the back on page 8C, Vermont Yankee had a small radioactive steam leak last week. Thanks, Kevin. It's just a small radioactive leak. It's fine. Nothing to be upset about. The leak was discovered by a worker doing maintenance on a pipe. The problem was corrected immediately, and air sampling monitoring confirmed extremely low radioactivity, well within the limits set by the license. It was work on a pipe during the process. There was a malfunction of a filter, and it's been corrected. It was corrected immediately. The steam condensed into water, said Bill Irwin, the radiological health chief prostitute for Yankee, told VPR that the water was collected in a drum and it didn't leak into the environment. But obviously, we need to continue to follow what's happened and make sure there's no further developments. Yeah. Okay. And speaking of stove, it looks like Maxwell's silver hammer got another one. This guy beat his wife to death with a framing hammer, tried to poison the dog, and then poisoned his own butt by eating some pills and leaving the car running inside. Yeah, Wayne and Catherine Washburn found at their Katy Hill home. Sure. Let's see. They were floored. She loved caring for Wayne. Oh, sure she did. Whitcomb suffered severe injuries to her head caused by a framing hammer. Police said evidence at the scene indicated Wayne died from a combination of OD on meds and deliberate CO poisoning. Suicide note left by him indicated that it were not an accident. He tried to kill the dog with prescription painkillers.
Steve, you're on TV.
Holy moly, look at that ugly guy. What's he selling?
Ron Popeil.
Yeah. Here, it slices, it dices, just line up. $19.95 is all it costs. And here we are. It's cheaper than ever. Oh, yeah. Our social identity is at stake, according. Yep. That's heroin made and imported by our own government and the money laundered by HSBC Bank. That's right.
Detergent now.
Yeah. Wash the money. Wash the money. How are we looking on time, Philo?
Well, you're up to about 41 minutes.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Bob Bick. In this country, we're bombarded with more than 3,000 messages a day, many promoting the idea that if you take a drug or drink a nutritional supplement or alcohol, you'll overcome whatever pain or personal limitation you're experiencing. We're a drug-taking society. Really?
Stories to tell you about that one.
Oh, yeah, Philo, you notice this too? They're starting right as soon as the clock hits noon. If you go on like the History Channel or any of these other cable channels, they start selling, running beer ads. Bang, right after noon.
Well, just remember, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. You get more with a kind word and a drink than just a kind word. And the food's poison too. Remember the poison pizza they found, Philo?
That one I didn't hear about.
Yeah. The, what do they call it? The Chittenden Solid Waste District 2 years ago. What they're doing now, because their compost was contaminated with pichloride from grain that they gave to horses. Now, mind you, this grain is so poisonous that the horses ate it. It went through the horse's digestive system. This is the same stuff that they feed to cows, too. So all you meat eaters, if you don't know where your meat's coming from, good luck. This stuff went through the horses. They took the manure, composted it with all this other garbage, bagged it up, sold it to people, and it killed their gardens. That's how toxic it was. So they started testing for it, Terry, and where did they find it? They found pichloride and pichloram in the pizza dough crust coming from the high schools that the kids had thrown out of the cafeteria.
Which high school was this, Steve? Burlington?
It would have been anywhere around the Chittenden Waste District, wherever they were composting, Terry.
Oh, boy, that's a big district.
Yeah, so if you're not, if you're not eating organic, you're getting pichloram. So between the poison pizza and flour dough and grains, the pharmaceutical drugs that they give you, and they want to load you up with more, the alcohol, yeah, it's no problem. We wonder why cancer is the leading cause of death. Can't figure it out.
You have poison pizza in Italy, and that's a death sentence.
Oh, yeah. You don't come back again. Below left, fava beans and red clover are grown from compost soil samples to test for herbicide contamination at Green Mountain Compost, new greenhouse. This stuff was, it's nasty. It's nasty. And professionals, let's see, good stuff. Where was it? Oh, here it is. Pardon me. 2-year timeout. Golson's stewardship of the state's largest compost operation now includes a close scrutiny of drop-offs. He explained coal mine canaries are like indicator plants who respond quickly in the presence of insidious and persistent pesticide.
Ooh, insidious, good word.
Yeah, and very few people use insidious anymore, Terry.
Wasn't he on the Star Wars?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was Lord Sidious or whatever.
Prince Assidious. The precaution was implemented in response to an incident 2 springs ago when an herbicide, aminopyrrolid, entered the production cycle via tainted hay and horse manure. Unsuspecting local gardeners bought and spread the stuff by the pickup load. Almost overnight, concentrations of several parts per billion poison snuffed out their gardens. It is only now replenishing its inventory. For the most part, the bacteria and fungi clean up after them, but not the persistent herbicides. Yeah, let's buy more grain from China. And look at this. Bill McKibben's gone after some idiot named Hartwell in our legislature who thinks global warming's a myth. Earth calling Vermont Democrats. Earth calling Vermont Democrats. Hello? Any sign of life out there? He said, Bob Hartwell told 7 Days last month, there's very significant and man's behavior may exacerbate it. That's all I'm saying. To suggest that mankind is causing the whole climate shift, that's a big reach. I don't think anybody's ever proved that, except for 97% of the world's scientists. But other than that, nobody's really proved it. It's a myth.
Someone's up front, Steve. I'll be right back.
Oh, man, thanks. Mitch McTurtle. This liberal Mitch McTurtle's bitching about the liberal elites. That's right.
Funny. Sorry, there's nobody back to the switch.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back for a minute.
Thanks. And some Republican senators immediately assailed the report. Oh, yeah, the climate change report. Republican leader and turtle Mitch McTurtle of Kentucky said President Osama is likely to use the platform to renew his call for a national energy tax. That would be a carbon tax. Because if you don't do something and we don't get off the crap, the oil and coal now, we're going to be in big trouble, people. Big trouble. We've already contaminated the oceans in amounts so high that they've been laced with carbonic acid. It's levels so high that shellfish and oysters and stuff, plankton, can't make the shells they need in the Gulf of Maine. So half of the plankton's crashed in the Gulf of Maine and it doesn't produce oxygen anymore. But you know, it's a myth, said Mick McTurtle. And I'm sure you'll get loud cheers from liberal elites, from the kind of people who leave a giant carbon ass print and then lecture everybody else about low-flow toilets. What? This guy is a U.S. Senator from Kentucky? You gotta be kidding me. You can't make this stuff up. And here we are. I know you can't see this one, but this guy just died. He was a pilot, and he was an RAF pilot, a American volunteer group. Let's see. He was 18 and 39 when he was rescued after a U-boat sunk his passenger ship off the coast of Ireland. And he started fighting the Nazis before the U.S. entered the war. He was flying Hawker Hurricanes and Supermarine Spitfires as a member of the IRF Eagle Squadron, made up of American volunteers. He later joined the U.S. Army Air Force and flew P-47 Thunderbolts and P-51 Mustangs. And he became commanding officer of the 336th Squadron, 4th Fighter Group, escorted bombers all the way to Berlin. That would have been towards the end of the war, because during the early part of the war, you watch a movie like 12 O'Clock High, these guys were on their own. The fighter escorts could only go with them over the channel, and that was it. They didn't figure out how to put drop fuel tanks on the things. Goodson was shot down and captured in June of '44, but eventually escaped and made his way back to the 3rd Army lines. After the war, he worked for Goodyear and IT&T, stuff like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, the insanity defense and, oh, man, IRS problems. Oh, yada, yada. And here we are. school spending and the limits of local control. Now, you know, we haven't heard much about about school spending, except that, you know, they voted down the bond again. They were off by 250 grand. But this guy explains where the money goes. He says, most of the teacher salary and benefits. Teachers also enjoy a unique salary schedule that provides step increases for each year of service, whether or not they got an annual raise. So then that means that teachers get double raises, a % increase in overall salaries, in addition to a step increase of as much as $1,000. What's reported as a 1 or 2% small increase in teacher pay can end up closer than 5% when the increases are included. For reference, a 5% annual increase will result in a doubling of pay in 14 years. Yeah. We got the money, sure. Fewer kids, more money. Double your pay in 14 years. Special ed services are required beyond local control. A special ed child support services can bring costs that cannot be reduced. Union high school districts, the elementary board has no say over the per pupil cost. He says encouraging some kids to drop out could save money, but you know, it's no solution. Let's see, what else they don't control? Core curriculum, state testing, grade level expectations. You can't consolidate grades into multi-age classrooms in small schools. I mean, some still do it. The need for all sorts of documentation and outside consulting support for any school in need of improvement, which is a big list in this state, and all sorts of required infrastructure. The other side of the equation is revenues. Pressures differ from district to district. Federal funds have decreased. The state homestead tax rate is up. And let's see, the number of equalized pupils and require speds and special eds has incurred the previous year. So the number of students decrease, and a teacher salary can technically double double pay in 14 years. Okay, and yeah, how are we doing on time, Philo?
We are at 52 minutes.
Okay, here's our favorite senator. That's right, Senator Batshit Crazy. Put his foot in his mouth again, Philo. This was from Saturday's paper. He tweeted out that the president backed his bill, but Podesta said, let's see, Podesta said not so fast. That's the same guy that gave the telecoms retroactive immunity. And look at this. Here's our governor. Shummy Sweats. Vermont embarks on record, road breaking, whatever. Oh, sure. Oh, man. And you know how Doonesbury's going back and running the old ones from the 70s, right?
No, but lay it on me.
Yeah. They brought over a Cambodian refugee whose village was bombed by our fighters and bombers, right? So they said, how could you be sure it's an American plane? You know, there's lots of different planes, big ones, little ones, jet planes. And the Cambodian lady said it was a McDonnell F-4B-1 Phantom 2. And guys all, oh yeah, that's one of ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you be a little more specific?
Yeah. Oh, man. And here it is. Ice Cream Woman makes her cringe. Typhoid Mary. You're going to love this one, Terry. Yeah, thanks. Let's see. Their older woman works at a local ice cream. Makes me cringe every time she takes my order. Repeated occasions I've seen her eating at the counter and licks her fingers without washing her hands, handles cones, touches all the ice cream machines and spoon, pulls some stuff out with her fingers. I can only imagine what she does behind the swinging doors. Oh, yeah. And speaking of food, here we are. Oh, man. How'd you like a nice, greasy duck burger? Yeah, there it is right there. It's a turd on a bun. Duck burgers.
What was up with that guy's eyes, huh?
Yeah, well, I had to black them out so you wouldn't recognize them. And here we are. Emily Payton might run as under the GOP, and the Republicans are going nuts. Gop, 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 gop. It stands for geezers. And here we are. New program, turns out teachers. Like turning out teachers, man? Is that like turning out hookers? You gotta be kidding me. But they're doing it. It's all you gotta do is take 15 seminars, pay them 11 grand, and you can be a teacher too, Terry. They're for doing the laid off workers at IBM. And here we are. The people in Cleveland are cutting the Indians off their fans' uniforms and stuff because they're finally coming around to saying that toothy Chief Wahoo and teams like the Washington Redskins, you know, it's an affront to our Native American friends, boys and girls. I hate
I
that.
got a question then.
Yeah.
One question, please indulge me, Steve.
Okay.
How many Dutchmen are offended by the skating Dutchmen of Union College, or how many Irish guys are upset with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame?
Well, if that Mick had a beer in one hand and a shillelagh in the other, they might not like it.
I think he used to.
Oh, man. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, and...
Cocaine in the Ukraine.
Yeah. And speaking of which, where's the missing cocaine? They're getting a nice new facility in Williston, you know. Oh, it's not for the police, though. That's right. It's just the public works. That's where Bart Chamberlain, they had the missing cocaine. Well, it disappeared over the weekend. We came back in and look, it was right on the desk all the time. Go figure.
2 minutes ago, Steve.
Yeah, oh, and get this. This guy, this patent troll, he's suing, saying that podcasts, that he invented podcasts in 1996, Terry, right? Now, get this. The guy he's based in Beaumont, Texas, personal audio, because Texas is business friendly, yet he lives in New Hampshire because nobody wants to actually live in Texas, right?
Nobody in their right mind.
Yeah. He said he did this stuff, but it was, what the hell is it? He was going to do cassettes. So in the old days, he was going to supply programming via cassettes, and now that everybody has a podcast, owes him money for patent infringement.
1 minute to go, Steve.
Oh, sure. Yeah, oh, sure. It's just insane. Oh, and it looks like they might jail the bankers, the big banks. No banks are too big to jail, says Dick Holder, our attorney generous. Sure. Well, we'll see about that one. And Ukrainia, who cares ya? Oh, and look at this. MERS is here now, Terry. They got one patient who took a flight back from Saudi Arabia to Indiana. Middle East respiratory system. No cure. 262 cases. Well, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching a stupid show.
And listening to me, Ben, back here saying stupid things.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here, and you know, and it's a reminder, it's your station too. So anybody, you know, you want to take a camera, do something, and until next week, get on your hands and knees and face east or west and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
We're gonna stay here till we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long. Come on and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay here till we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long. The evening sun is sinking low. The clock on the wall says it's time to go. I got my plans and I got plans for you. I'll tell you exactly what we're all gonna do. Get in the groove and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay here till we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long. Come on and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay here till we soothe our soul. Takes all night long. Listen, might be 12 o'clock and it might be 3.